As-salamu Aleikum. Hope you're doing well, inshallah. Today I'm going to share 10 books. If you are looking for a good book to read that is connected to Islam, inshallah, I hope that these suggestions are helpful. So let's just jump right into it. Book number 1, Big Little Steps. So this book is written by a woman and she converted to Islam around the age of 18 or just a few days before she turned 18. And so she shares her journey and a lot of different topics as well. It is a very nice, easy, gentle, friendly read. It's like you're sitting with your friend over a cup of tea and learning about her. And it's not just meant for converts or a certain group. It really captures you, whether you are a convert getting to know Islam or someone who just wants to learn about Islam or someone who is looking to reconnect with their faith and get closer. It's a nice, gentle read, but it's also educational at the same time. She covers different topics like prayers, mental health, fasting, and so on. Different topics that inshallah will bring you closer to your faith. So if you're looking for a nice, easy, gentle read and to just reconnect more with your faith, inshallah, this is an option. Number 2, Portrait of the Prophet, Ash-Shama'il al-Muhammadiyya, the Portrait of the Prophet. And this book is written by Imam at-Tirmidhi in Arabic, and then it has been translated as well. So this one covers both the Arabic and English version. And it presents to us detailed descriptions of the moral, physical, spiritual qualities of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has 55 chapters and it's all a collection of hadith. Each chapter is a specific quality or character of the Prophet ﷺ and the different hadith that is linked to that character trait. So it literally gives us a portrait of the Prophet ﷺ for you to imagine how he was, how he looked, how he carried himself, the different qualities, different character traits, and so on. Next, Allah, an explanation of the divine names and attributes. If you have been looking to get to know Allah more, get to know the names of Allah, the attributes of Allah, this covers Allah's names, attributes. So each chapter is one of the names of Allah, and it's a short read for each name, just a couple of pages or so for each name. And what's nice is that in each name, it doesn't give just an explanation of each name, but it also gives you tips on how to connect with each name. For example, let's take a look at Al-Wahhab, the bestower, and you can see it explains in the first couple of paragraphs the name Al-Wahhab and then how to connect with this name. So you can connect with this name by seeking a downpour of his gifts and exposing yourself to his gentle breezes, and that is by constantly thanking him for his bounties and serving him with excellence. And you can also say, O Wahhab, bestow upon me of your generous gifts what will cause me to attain your good pleasure. So it kind of gives you an example of how you can call out to Al-Wahhab and how you can yourself carry or embody that trait as well and learn from that trait. And you can see at the end of the chapter, it says realization of this name. You will realize this name when you give like one who does not fear poverty. So it kind of gives you insight into the name and how you can also use that name and connect with that name more, inshallah. Next is a Treasury of Aisha radiallahu anha, a guidance from the beloved of the beloved. This is a beautiful book, especially for my sisters. If you want to connect with the beloved of the beloved, you want to connect with another sister and get inspired by our sister in Islam, this is a really nice insight into Aisha radiallahu anha. It covers the incredible contributions she had to Islam, the impact that she had in different areas, in tafsir of the Quran, in fiqh, jurisprudence matters, in aqidah, theology, and so many different areas that we have that have been passed down to us because of Aisha radiallahu anha, because of her drive and initiative, her inquisitive nature, and her sharing knowledge with others. So if you want to get inspired by Aisha radiallahu anha and the impact that she had, this is a good book to reach for. It's a short read, simple read, and it covers many of her contributions. Next book, The Daily Revival. So this book is a collection of good deeds. It says a collection of good deeds that have largely been forsaken. So it's a collection of different things that we could be doing in our day-to-day life and practical things that we could be doing. So sometimes we might feel like, oh, I don't know what good deed I could be doing, or, I'm not sure what I could do in my day. And this kind of gives you some ideas of different things that you could be incorporating into your day as a good deed, inshallah. For example, the title of this section is I'm stuffed. And it's a reminder to us that it is a good deed to not eat to the point that you are so stuffed and you cannot move. And it includes different evidence of why this is a good deed to incorporate. So you can see hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, you can see reminders from scholars and so on. So by simply trying to not eat until the point that you are stuffed, inshallah, you are incorporating a good deed into your day, especially with Ramadan coming around the corner. You know, we might be more prone to stuffing ourselves to the point that we cannot move off the table. And so, inshallah, this is an encouraging reminder for us to not eat to that point that we are incredibly stuffed, inshallah. And that could be a good deed that you're incorporating into Ramadan very easily. Next, the heart of the Quran. And this is a commentary on Surah Yasin. In our sisterhood session, so many sisters, their favorite surah is Surah Yasin. So if you are looking to dive into the Quran, or specifically Surah Yasin, this is a really nice read because it is done in such a nice, colorful way with different schematics and illustrations and so on. There's images, there's colors, there's depictions to help you understand the surah. I'm personally a diagram person, so it really helps to see diagrams and images to understand different concepts as opposed to just reading text after text after text. So this is a really nice, engaging read. So if you are feeling intimidated about diving into tafsir work or reading more about surahs in the Quran and you're intimidated by the large tafsir sources that can get very technical and it's a lot of text and so on, this is a nice, gentle way to kind of ease into that. Because it is divided into small sections, there's different images and illustrations to help understand better. It's grouped into smaller sections. A nice, easy read if you're looking to dive into the Quran, specifically Surah Yasin. Okay, next, let's talk about a handbook of spiritual medicine. It's a nice cover, but it's a really nice inside. And let me tell you why. It's really about us being on a continual cycle of self-improvement, self-purification. None of us are perfect, and this book speaks to that. So it talks about the different spiritual ailments or areas that we might identify in ourselves. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's envy, maybe it's displeasure with divine decree. So this book goes through the different signs and symptoms you might see if you are not spiritually healthy in an area, and then what are the remedies for that. And it provides evidence from Quran and Sunnah, Hadith, and so on. It also includes exceptions because there are moments that it is actually healthy or okay to exhibit a certain emotion or a certain character trait. For example, let's take a look at anger. The section about anger starts off, you can see a summary where it includes the signs and symptoms as a summary, the treatments, and then some of the exceptions where it's okay to exhibit anger, it's understandable to exhibit anger. And then the chapter itself goes into a lot more detail, and you can see really nice tables, colors, depictions for you to understand these concepts better. So red are the signs and the symptoms. So you can see rage and hatred, rising tempers, you engage in heated conflicts. You go on social media, for example, and you post angry comments and so on. That could be a symptom as well. So different symptoms for you to reflect and identify in yourself if you fall into this category. And then the next page in green has treatments. And it's based, again, there's Quranic, prophetic, scholarly evidence on the different treatments and how to deal with the issue of anger. And then, as mentioned at the end of the chapter, there are exceptions. So, for example, there are moments where it is okay to exhibit anger, it's understandable. And there's also evidence of that. For example, when you see an injustice on somebody, when you witness impermissible acts, and so on. So that's an example of one of the sections, but there's all kinds of different emotions, from fraud, from hatred, from extravagance, from envy, boasting, arrogance, pride. It's a really good book to self-reflect and evaluate yourself. Maybe you want to self-reflect, but you don't even know where to start. This is a really great handbook that you can just go through step by step, look at the signs and symptoms, and recognize in yourself what you might be struggling from, and then also have the remedies to deal with that, inshallah. Okay, and relatedly, the same author accepted prayers, dua. So this is about du'as, supplications. It starts off introducing you to du'a, what it is, why you should make du'a, what are the benefits, etc. And then it goes through the different emotions you might be feeling and how you can channel that through dua. So for example, you can see the same emotions that we looked at in the other book. So for example, let's look at anger again. And you can see that the anger section, you can see how to deal with it, what names of Allah you can use to call upon, and what are some accepted prayers. And you can flip through and see the different du'as and supplications that you can make that are connected to anger, and so on. So again, it's a great handbook if you're looking for something where maybe one day you're feeling a certain way, or you're dealing with a certain thing. You just flip through and you see, how to deal with that, how to supplicate, how to use supplication as a means, and so on, inshallah. So that's that one. Next, we have Builders of a Nation by Dr. Haifa Yunus. This book just came out a couple of weeks ago, so it's fresh off the presses. I'm still making my way through it, and it covers women in Islam. It's all about amazing women in Islam. There's three main sections. So there is women of the Prophet's household, which includes wives and daughters. And then there is female companions, which includes those who were around the company of the Prophet ﷺ. And then the third section are female pioneers of Islamic history. So within each section, you will see multiple women mentioned, each one in a chapter. So for example, the book starts off with our beloved Khadija radiallahu anha. The chapters are split really nicely to make it an easy read with smaller subheadings in each chapter and so on. So for example, in the chapter of Khadija radiallahu anha, you can see one section is a noble beginning, another section is a blessed union when they got married, a pillar of support, how she was a really amazing support to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and at the end a legacy left behind. So it's a really nice easy read, split into different sections, really pretty book, and yeah, that's a good one if you're looking to connect with women in Islam. And finally, Jannah, Home at Last, and as you can tell, it is all about Jannah. So if you want to get to know Jannah more and be excited for Jannah, there is so much encouragement in this book. You get to know what happens the moment you enter Jannah, the fragrance of Jannah, the rivers of Jannah, your clothing in Jannah, and all the ways you can prepare from now for Jannah, how to build a home in Jannah, how to raise your rank in Jannah, and things like that. There's different references from the Quran that are listed throughout the chapters, so it also helps you connect more to the Quran and its verses. And we will conclude with this one. May Allah make us of the people that are here in Jannah in the highest level, Ya Rab. I hope that you found all these books helpful, inshallah, if you're looking for something to read. And until next time, As-salamu Aleikum.